Dead.
Hey, this is my first review video, so I'm just gonna jump right into it. Developed by Housemarque, Returnal is a roguelike, bullet hell third-person shooter with some first-person moments. You play as space explorer Celine Vassos, crash landing on the planet Atropos. Your goal is to escape, but it's easier said than done. If you're unaware what type of game bullet hells are, it's exactly how it sounds. You attempt to burst the health of enemies down while doing your best to avoid the barrage of projectiles they send your way. Being that the game is roguelike, if you die, you'll find yourself nearly at square one with a few exceptions. Most unlockables, such as weapons, weapon mods, consumables, and artifacts, won't need to be unlocked again. But the loot is randomized, so you're still at the whims of the RNG gods. That being said, I've found that most runs aren't rely on what you find, but by your ability to read and react to the enemy's attack patterns. If you can hang in there, the upgrades you require snowball until you feel nigh unstoppable. When I first dove into Returnal, I had no idea it would be a bullet hell, but I was pleasantly surprised by it. It can make for some beautifully surreal and colorful chaotic moments. The best way to understand is to see it, so a somewhat spoiler alert, here's about 30 seconds of one of the boss fights in 4K. The hardest part of Returnal is getting to the bosses, while the bosses themselves are easily the most fun part of the game, at least for me they were. Expect to be caught unaware from time to time by the disorienting variety of visuals and adversaries thrown your way, and if you're like me, occasionally walking off an edge while you're preoccupied dodging. There are some first-person aspects to Returnal that are tied directly to the story, so I won't be showing them here. Suffice to say, those parts made me feel the most uneasy and stressed. They're creepy, but in a good way. Though you begin the game with a simple pistol, the game offers a much greater selection of weaponry to utilize as you progress. Along the way, you'll take advantage of parasites, tempting little alien attachments with randomized upgrades such as surviving a killing blow, with drawbacks like critical malfunctions upon removal, which destroy a random item in your inventory. You'll discover artifacts, items granting passive boons that can alter your playstyle or simply buff your stats. The weapon proficiency mechanic is basically a loot quality modifier that increases during your current run. The difficulty of the game feels acceptable. I never ran into a wall I couldn't overcome, and I always felt like a sci-fi badass by the end of each run. The only con for me is the lack of a current save state mid-run. Currently, as of this video, the only way to save a run is by putting your PlayStation into rest mode while the game is open. My first finish run was probably about 4.5 hours long, and though I managed to start beating it in under 3 hours, it's still a length of time I imagine most people would find too long to finish in one sitting. Returnal will hold your PlayStation hostage, lest you forgo your current run and begin again next time. Housemarque has acknowledged this, but they've made no mention of how they would address it. All in all, I loved my time with the game, so much so that I may go back to platinum it at some point. The controls are tight, the haptic triggers feel very nice, the action is packed, and it's a pleasure to look at. The price of $70 is pretty steep, and I find myself hard-pressed to say if any game is worth that amount. However, after sinking about 25 to 30 hours into it, I definitely don't regret the purchase. So if you're itching for a next-gen title, this game doesn't disappoint. If you enjoyed the video, comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff, and thanks for watching.